A good night of Shabbos, Parshas Boy El Pare. So it's interesting to note that in the last week's Parsha, maybe even 2 weeks, um, the Torah is talking about the Nachash, the snake, and there's a whole spiel around the snake. It's from a stick it turned into a snake, and from a snake it turned back into a stick, and then when Moshe came in front of Paro, that he threw the stick on the floor, and they all turned into turned into snake, and then they all the magicians, the Chatimim, they imitated that, and then Moshe's stick swallowed up the other sticks, and it turned into back into a stick. So what is going on? What's happening over here? And also we have Vayemer Hashem al Moshe Boy El Pare, come to Pare. So it's also, if you remember correctly, when Yosef Atzadi came to be Poised Chalan to translate the dream for Pare, it was also a similar situation where he went to Pare and he was Poised Chalam, and we understand that whatever the translation of a Chalam is, that's where it's going to be, especially back then when they were living in that space, fully present. And it's also similar to where he came to Pare and he went inside to Pare. He went inside and he was shifted things around. He changed around, he moved around. He took a transmission, oisius, combinations, tziruf, and he created something out of it. So he created the whole Galus Mitzrayim and the Yetzias Mitzrayim, from everything from beginning to end. So the vart is that anything that is a davar shebekdusha does not, never goes away, never leaves. It stays. It's nitzchi. A nitzis eliki, it's nitzchi. When you do a good deed, when you do something positive, it stays. It doesn't remove itself. How does that work? Because the only truth is what's real, and anything that is not the truth is just a vessel to hold the truth, so we can become aware and mindful of the truth. So there should be a galus of Eibishter in Welt. So therefore, the contrast was created, so whatever the point is can be expressed and can be expanded on. Which means that everything and anything, every time we were here and we did our avodah in this world, it stays, it never leaves. The only thing that changes is the vessel that holds it. The chetzoni is the outside part of it. The peel is what changes, which means that based on the oil that has to be created, based on the energy that has to manifest in Welt, the way the Eibishter wants it, the way he communicates is by putting us into an opposite effect, and from the opposite, from the squeeze, not the archoizer, from the opposite effect, from the contrast of it, we understand what the point is. We understand the light, because we are in the contrast. We are living on the other side of it. We are in Malchus, which is just a mirror that is receiving the light that's shining onto it. But since we are dealing with in a physical body, which is the nachash, which is the snake, the toivera, it could be good, it could be not good. The minute we are in debate if it's good or not good, that is the nachash. That suffix, that is the nachash, that is the unknown, and that is the not certain, and the truth is certain. The truth is certain. The emes is a vadai. It's a munah. it's Amunah, it's Mesiris Nefesh. Mesiris Nefesh, it's in today's Tanya, and it's also in this week. It's talking a lot about in Chassidus that Amunah is Mesiris Nefesh. When the Eden were told in Mitzrayim to shech the seh for Korban Pesach 4 days before, they were already had it in the house, and it was a big trigger for the Mitzrayim, because to them this was Avodah Zarah. What does it mean it wasn't Avodah Zarah? It was kind of like an idol worship, which is they understood the koyach of it, and by serving it with whatever the avodah was of serving that, they were basically was a communication for them. Same way people were serving to the sun, they were dealing with tapping into that koyach. So too, it was a Mesiris Nefesh over here when you're taking something, or you're in someone's house and you are doing something that is not accepted over there. From whatever place you're coming from, you can't, it would be a Mesiris Nefesh for somebody to show up and do his way when in the place that he's at, that's not the way. Right? You get uncomfortable, you're not sure if you should bother or ask, and all that. That is just to understand what it means to go Mesiris Nefesh. So the Nachash, as we know, it turns. Imagine the Nachash that stands. It's like a spiral. It turns, and as we are going through the process of evolution, as we're going through different generations and different realities, the koima is already there, the pnima is the emes, the truth, the purpose is already there. What's changing is the outside, the skin of the snake. So the same way it spirals up, it also spirals down. With every deed, with every situation that a person is in, and he finds the purpose of it, the meaning, and the truth, which is the truth, not and, which is the truth, that layer, the contrast melts away, it disappears. And what we're left with is the purpose, the panim is the kavana, the intention. That's what we're left with. But what's happening is that we get stuck on the contrast. We get stuck on the peel. We get stuck on the outer layer, because we're conditioned that way, and also the conditions outside are pushing the person into falling back into that place, and therefore we hold on to the vessel rather than the purpose of what the vessel was created for. Kind of like idol worshiping the outside instead of going into the inside to the truth. Because let's not get so harsh. I just want to make a point. It's a form of a desire, because if we have amun and betachon, that if we really believe, and we believe in the God and our Eibishter, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, or whatever that means, then automatically we understand that the problem that we're dealing with is, if I'm worried, if I live in the suffix, if I live in the maybe, that is the other side. That is the klippa. That is the uncertainty, because that is not the purpose. So if that is not the end result, the means to an end, then for sure you'll never come to a conclusion from that end. But rather we have to go into amunah, we have to go into Mesiris Nefesh, which means overpowering my emotions, overpowering my feelings of me wanting to stay in the no, in the maybe, and going into the vada, going into the truth, and automatically the other stuff will either 50% dissolve, 80%, and if not, there has to be a certain pu'ula, a certain action that needs to be taken in order to clean up and to remove that. Whatever it is, ben adam l'chavere, ben adam l'ishte, whatever it is, kids, whatever it is that needs to be done, we can change, but we still need to make a declaration and let people know where it's at, your kids or whatever it is. So there is chatzois and then kachatzois, and it's busy. That's all the Sfarim, all the Chassidish Sfarim are busy with this. Why did Moshe have to say kachatzois alayla when it is the Eibshter told him chatzois? So the answer is that 12 o'clock, or like 12 o'clock, approximately 12 o'clock. The answer is that the Eibshter doesn't make a mistake. Chatzois is chalila. The chatzois is exactly chatzois. but he was afraid that Pari's magicians are going to be off on time, and therefore he said kachatzois. He covered the bases. But the question is being asked that um, why? Because the other markets, he just told them it's coming, it's going to happen. He didn't give them a time. Why over here give them a time? And because they were going to make a mistake, he changed the words that Hashem told him. Hashem told him Chatzois, exactly 12. He said Kachatzois. But the answer to that is there's many Lamdish answers and many Hasidic answers, but I want to focus on what is happening Chatzois. What is Chatzois Alayla? So there are different ways, as we said before, of letting go. There's different ways of releasing. There are different ways of getting aligned with the truth. There has to be done different pu'ulas, different actions have to be taken, as we said before, 50%, 40%, whatever the issue is, and wherever you're at. It's prati. But it says boil pari kinibadi as libu as live avadav, which means that pari is the Tanan Hagadol. He is the big the serpent. He is the big. He represents the whole structure in Welt, is the whole klippa of whatever you see right now will be translated to governments, powerful people, and more powerful people, and they're controlling the wars and controlling the health and all that, which is literally, there is a certain koyach that they could start believing in themselves, that he has the power. And he's fully present with it. That's the klippa. He can get to the true truth. He can't get to the ultimate truth, because he's stuck within himself, within his own power. He can't see that. For that, we need amunah. For that, we need to go Mesiras Nefesh. Veslev Avadav is also the different scenarios that happen from within that one, which means that there are many ways where a person gets stuck. There is the little things and the smaller things, and then the bigger and bigger things that are different. Then there is the etzem, the core. Yes, there is a war here, it hurts me, and then I get over it. But then there is stuff that is personal. That is the pare within. That is the pare within each and every one of us. Because remember, boyel pare, we have to enter inside. You can't sit and check out and just, you have to be involved, and that is you're entering into the place of where there is this fakis, uncertainty, fears, and worry, and generational worry that is just given over from father to to family. All right. But there has to become, the whole purpose of that is, the whole purpose of Gullus is so a person can get to finding the truth, this very complex truth, this very beautiful, it's almost like a diamond where it's cut at an angle and it has one cut within another cut, almost like endless cuts. That's what we're dealing with over here, to develop and cut this stone, cut the rock, open up the heart in a way that what we're projecting, we can receive something that is very unique, very special, something that is taking out the whole illusion of pare. So that happens Chatzois Alayla. Chatzois, which means exactly, because the first half of the night is Gevuris, as it's brought down on this forum, because it gets darker and darker, and then the second part of the night it starts getting lighter and lighter, therefore we enter into Chasadim. But then there is something right split in the middle, which is the zach, the thing that is the reason of the reason why there is dark and why there is light, and there is something that is higher from Ishtalshalos, there's something that is above everything else. And that happens Chatzois Alayla, exactly Chatzois. Chatzois Alayla that happens when the person goes deep inside, away from all the entanglements, away from all the rationalization. Because after you've done the rationalization, after you've done the work, we have to go to a place. You're still stuck in the avadav. You're still stuck in the slave. You're still stuck in different Yes, I resolved it because I did so, I resolved it because I did this, I did that. That is the work of Sheshes Yomim, but then we're going into Shabbos, we're going into Chatzos, we're going into exactly 12 o'clock, which is the Amunah from within inside, the Amunah going into something that is Lamalim Mitam Vadas. It's not something you can understand. It's not something that, um, let me say what it is. It is who we are. It is who you are. That level of Amunah, which is only that vibration, that consciousness is what came out of Mitzrayim, and that went through the Kriyas Yamsef, which is splitting the sea, opening up and splitting it within, right in the center Kichatzos, where all the illusions are away, and it's not even of something that is temporarily, it's something that is, you find self, you made that yichud from within self, connecting to the etzem of the truth of who you are, the truth of each and every one of us, and that's where we're heading. And that is boy al parei. That is when, yes, they can also make snakes, but the ultimate snake is that swallows up the illusion of the spin, that swallows up the purpose of the snake. The purpose of the Moshe snake, is our snake, is to it can swallow up all the other snakes. It's just here for a lesson. It's here to teach us something, and ultimately it turns into a stick, which is the center line, the hamshacha, kavem tzoi, the spine being straight and firm and present. That is the purpose of all the spins and all the turbulence that one encounters and goes through. So one of the ways to go into that level of the level where Chatzos Alayla, Chatzos is the easiest thing I can think of, is Simcha Shabbos, going into complete absolute silence, shutting down from everything. Silence, not as in silence, but external sounds, but internal sounds. Shutting down all the maybes and the ifs, and just stepping into it from a place of gratitude. Gratitude is a big one. Every time it's becoming more and more that I'm finding that gratitude is the simplest and most powerful way of getting out from a spin, getting out from why is it happening, and why is it so hard, and why this, why that, and it's true, it's tough. Life is tough, and we're living in an endless, bottomless pit. It's never enough. It's just designed that way. Forget about extras. There's a constant, people dealing with health, with happiness, and just being miserable and not happy, and all that good stuff. It's a bottomless pit. That is the malchus. That is the snake. He's going to bite. There are millions of sensors in the body. He's going to bite in whichever way possible, because that's what it does. He's just constantly moving. He is uncertain. He doesn't taste anything. He doesn't smell anything. Everything tastes the same, and he's just walking on the ground, flat on the ground. He can't even get off above the ground. He's completely attached to that gravity, to that pull. So, yes. So, Lechting Shabbos. So we can talk and tell the story to all the stories that we have within us. The bincha, the ben bincha, the stories that we encountered firsthand, and then mostly the stories that we are just spinning. Just a constant it's the constant spin in the head, in every angle, and sometimes it's so. It is what it is. It's a real struggle. It's a real battle. And go inside the heart. Now, we're saying it. Getting there and being there is under Matzaving Janssen, but at least you have the address, and that goes across the board. The day we have it figured out, it's game over. Okay. I think that is what we have for this week. Have an awesome Shabbos. Say l'chaim. It is Yud Shvat. Shabbos is Yud Tes Yud, yes, tomorrow is Yud. Yud is when the Frierdiker Rebbe passed away, and a year later the Rebbe became Rebbe, and he said the Maimon Basi Lagani walking into the garden, going into Gan Eden, and the way he was very poetic. He was very good with his expression, and he painted a picture for us what it looks like in Gan Eden. And basically, what he revealed is that we're here walking around in Gan Eden. Imagine you walking around in the yard, and you're just present. And in other words, that we have, because we have that chip of Amunah within us, we have that level of Shari Hamishim, that we go into a place of complete belief that everything is fine, because once you go into that place where everything is fine, automatically what's not fine is not there anymore, because it's one manai it's attached to each other. It's like, as you believe, that releases. As you go into the suffix, means that the other side is taking control, shutting down the back of the head, which is the das, going into confusion, going in. We're becoming forgetful. You're not present. So activate your Gan Eden within you. Activate, understand that when you're feeling good and when you're feeling positive, when you're feeling in flow, you are, where is it coming from? What is the source? Where is this coming from? What am I connecting to? And ultimately, good. I'm happy that we went another round, is because I wanted to make another point, which it would have come to me in 5 minutes from now, and then it becomes an issue if it becomes a question. I go into the suffix if I should or should not. But anything and everything that we're experiencing, anything that you're learning, let's go like this, anything that you're learning, you already know. It's just remembering. And sometimes we don't know, and you are once again just carving out that space, but you are connecting to that thing, the intellect that already knows everything. Right? So there could be that you go to a shir, or you go to a workshop, and it's like, wow, I knew this. You're just affirming, or if it's new, then you are connecting to the thing that has already confirmed this information, and now you're just carving out your vessel too. You're stenciling it out, so you can have that's already known, connecting to that. So Atzilus, we are, connected to Shamas the Atzilus, and the Alter Rebbe talks about it today and yesterday in Tanya, where we have Amunah, which means that the biggest non-believer ultimately will kill himself, will give himself over a Mesiras Nefesh, will give himself over a Mesiras Nefesh for his belief system, for who it is at the core. At core, it has to be this way. It has to be just the way the core of a finger is a finger. The core of a yid is that he can't get away from his truth. So if you dig, you go deeper and deeper, then he connects to who are you? I am this vibration. I'm connected to something that already happened, something that is already confirmed, something that is already the ultimate truth. I'm connected to that. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, so on and so forth, the Shvatim and Rachel Imenu and all that good stuff. Beis Hamikdash, Yerushalayim, Kodesh Kodeshim, the Vadai. So we're just here at the bottom, as we're dropping in altitude, only to find that we are at the top once again. But we're just here at the bottom because it is the outside, and we're taking that bottom piece and waking it up, remembering what already happened, what you already know. So that is Yud Shvat, where the Frierdiker Rebbe is painting that picture that the Shechina was first here in Welt, and then Adam Rishon, and then Kain, and then every time 7 things that happened, the Egel that moved the Shechina all the way back to Istalke Kitchebrichit. So it went higher and higher, it became more refined, more thin, more ungraspable as we got thicker, as we got more distracted. And then they brought it back down by Matan Torah, and it started coming back, started bringing it back down. I'm not sure if Egel was one of the 7 things that removed it. I have to look inside. But anyways, have an awesome Shabbos, and it's one of those days that you can tap into the Emunah. When you see the message of what the Rebbe gave us and what Chabad, and we're talking about Chabad right now, that identity, the permission to be, permission to learn Torah, permission to daven with your expression, permission to express yourself the way you want to express your beauty, your creativity, your Getlichkeit, not suppression, expression. Expressing yourself, that is key. That is where it's at. If you don't express yourself, then you're not expressing yourself, and you go into a depression. Of course, it has to be measured and all that good stuff. And we have to say this because it's, I don't know who can listen to it, and God forbid thinking that you can just express yourself. But yes, expressing yourself with your high vibration. Of course, that's what we're talking about. Expressing the high vibration. Good Shabbos.